One of Liverpool's most influential players, a key figure in their recent success, could be on the verge of leaving the club for bigger opportunities. With contract talks stalling, it's looking more likely that his time at Anfield is coming to an end. In this video, we'll explore 5 potential players Liverpool could target to replace him, and if he stays, who would step in as his perfect substitute. Trust me, you won't want to miss number 5, a player with the same style and impact as the man in question, so watch to the end to find out who. The situation with Salah is a bit wild. The guy is still Liverpool's top scorer this season. We're talking 16 goals and 13 assists in all competitions, carrying the team in typical Salah fashion. Yet somehow the club hasn't made him an offer to stay. Like, what? Salah himself even said, "We're almost in December and I haven't received any offers yet." And then he drops the bomb, "I'm probably more out than in." That's not just a hint, that's a whole flashing neon sign saying, "Pay me or I'm gone." It's weird though, right? Liverpool rejected a massive £150 million offer from Saudi Arabia's Al Ittihad just a few months ago, so clearly they value him. But maybe they're playing hardball because extending his deal might set a precedent for big contracts with other stars like Virgil van Dijk or Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Saudi Arabia.
And let's not ignore the Saudi factor. That league isn't just calling, it's shouting. They're still lurking in the background, ready to throw even more cash to bring Salah in. Now Salah's in beast mode this season, scoring, assisting and dragging Liverpool to the top of the Premier League. He's saying I've still got it, and he's not wrong. So is this Liverpool trying to hedge their bets, or are they risking alienating one of their greatest ever players? Either way, if Salah's not staying, they better have a plan B lined up, and fast. But before a plan B is gotten, we need to understand what exactly we need, and what better way to examine this than to look at this through Salah. If someone's stepping in to replace or sub for Salah, they better bring their A game. Like, seriously, you're talking about one of the greatest forwards the Premier League has ever seen. This isn't just about filling a spot on the pitch, it's about measuring up to a guy who's redefined what it means to play as a wide forward. First off, the pace. Whoever dares to step into Salah's shoes needs to be able to fly. Salah's speed isn't just about sprinting, it's his acceleration, his ability to go from 0 to gone in the blink of an eye. Defenders are terrified of leaving an inch of space behind them because Salah will eat it up and leave them staring at his jersey number. Then there's the technical ability. Salah doesn't just dribble past defenders, he humiliates them. A drop of the shoulder, a feint, and suddenly he's shifted the ball onto his left foot, ready to unleash a rocket. And speaking of that left foot, let's be real, it's a cheat code. Any replacement needs to have that same ability to curl the ball around defenders and goalkeepers like it's on a string. And let's talk about his game intelligence. Salah's football brain is next level. He knows when to go wide to stretch the defense and when to cut inside to wreak havoc. His runs are calculated to perfection, whether darting behind the backline or finding space in a crowded box. A replacement needs to understand not just how to play their position, but how to think like Salah. But here's the kicker. It's not just about what Salah does with the ball. Off the ball, he's a beast. He presses like his life depends on it, traps defenders on the touchline, and wins possession high up the pitch to start attacks. Slot's system thrives on this, and any sub or replacement must have that same hunger and that same relentless work ethic. Oh, and let's not forget chemistry. Salah's link-up play with Trent Alexander-Arnold, or Jota these days, is telepathic. A replacement needs to fit into that system seamlessly, knowing when to combine, when to make the run, and when to be the finisher. So, can anyone replace Salah? Well, maybe, but they'd need to be fast, intelligent, clinical, tireless, and fearless. Stepping into Salah's role isn't just about playing football, it's about living up to the legacy of one of Liverpool's all-time greats. That's big boots to fill. More like massive ones, actually. Well, here are 5 players who can fit into those shoes. The first is a player who Slot has worked with in the past. His name is Yakububa Minteh. If Liverpool's looking for someone to either back up or one day step into Salah's shoes, this guy's name keeps popping up, and for good reason. He's got all the right vibes, his speed, skill, and that left foot that just screams trouble for defenders. First off, he's very versatile. Minteh's not just a one-trick pony. Sure, he's a right winger by trade, just like Salah, but he's also been known to dabble on the left, play centrally, and even take on the number 10 role. Think about it. In his breakout season, the guy put up numbers wherever he played. 15 games on the right? Cool, he scores 3 and assists 6. 4 games on the left or as a number 10? Boom, 3 more goal contributions. Versatility like that isn't just useful, it's a manager's dream. Minteh has that direct, fearless approach that we all love about Salah. He loves standing defenders up, waiting for them to make the first move, and then bam, he's gone. Whether it's cutting inside to whip one in with his left foot or burning past them down the line with his pace, the guy's hard to contain. And here's where it gets spooky. Minteh's dribbling stats from his season under Slot were top tier. Only 2 players in the Eredivisie with significant minutes averaged more successful take-ons than him. Add that to the fact he's worked on his finishing, calm, composed strikes into the bottom corner, and you start to see why people are hyped about this guy. Off the ball, even better. This isn't some flashy winger who disappears when his team doesn't have position. Minteh's pressing game is elite. He ranked top in the Eredivisie for tackles won in the attacking third, which means he's not just creating chances, he's stealing them straight out of the opposition's pocket. Slot would love that. Imagine a forward line with that kind of relentless pressing energy. But here's the big question. Can he measure up to Salah? Well, yes, he can try. Minteh's got the raw tools, the speed, the skill, the work ethic, but stepping into Salah's role is about more than that. It's about consistency, leadership, and turning up when it matters. He's young, still learning, and let's be honest, Brighton won't let him go cheap. But if he can sharpen those edges and keep evolving, Minteh could be the heir to Salah's throne. So what do you think? Is Minteh the guy to carry the torch, or is the shadow of Salah too big for anyone to fill? But our next guy is much better in terms of output. But before we talk about that, please subscribe to the channel. We have a goal to hit 20k subscribers before the end of the year, and the only way we can do that is with your help. Now, back to the video. Bryan Mbeumo is a player who has been flying under the radar for a long time. Mbeumo's been running the show at Brentford since Ivan Toney left, operating mostly as a right winger. Does sound familiar? But don't box him in, he's just as creative cutting inside, playing centrally, or even dribbling to the left when needed. That flexibility is a Slot special. And Mbeumo seems like the kind of player who could thrive in Liverpool's dynamic system. Mbeumo isn't just a hard worker, he's productive. Goals, assists, big moments, you name it, he delivers. And here's the thing, he does it consistently, even when Brentford isn't dominating games. And that speaks volumes about his mentality. He's a guy who will grind out results, the one you can count on when the chips are down. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but is he Salah level? Honestly, no one's Salah level right now. The man's a beast. But Mbeumo's got something about him, a combination of pace, intelligence, and clinical finishing that's not a million miles away. Plus, he's got that workhorse mentality. He's not just about flair. He puts in the shift off the ball, pressing like his life depends on it. So if Liverpool's planning for the post-Salah era, Mbeumo isn't just a solid option, he's a smart one. And at the age of 25, he still has some years to make it big in the Premier League. Another player that could replace Salah is Yohan Bakayoko. Bakayoko is the youngest player on this list, which means he's got so much room to grow. At just 20 years old, he's still figuring out the game, but if there's one thing Liverpool's new manager knows, it's how to mould talent. Bakayoko is a player who could thrive under Slot's system, learning from Salah and the rest of the squad. He's got time, and Liverpool loves developing their players into world beaters. The kid's already making a name for himself. He's clocked 146 appearances in his career so far, and in those he's contributed to 79 goals. That's a solid return for someone so young, and it shows that he's already got the hunger and potential to do big things in a league like the Premier League. What's even more impressive is when you stack up his numbers against someone like Salah. In the 2022-23 season, Bakayoko had a higher rating than Salah, 7.22 versus 7.16. That might surprise you, right? One of Bakayoko's standout skills is his dribbling. He attempts more dribbles per game than Salah, 2 compared to 1.3. That's pretty impressive for a winger so young, and it shows he's got the confidence and flair to take defenders on and create opportunities, something Salah's been brilliant at. It's clear that Bakayoko has that spark of creativity that would fit perfectly in Liverpool's attacking style. Another player who could replace Salah is the West Ham star Mohamed Kudus. He's also versatile. This guy can play anywhere in the attacking third, whether as an attacking midfielder, a winger, or even as a second striker. He's not locked down to one position, and that flexibility is such a big deal in modern football. Salah's ability to pop up all over the front line and create magic from different spots? Well, Kudus has that same versatility in spades. But it's not just about where he plays, it's about how he plays. Kudus is an explosive dribbler, just like Salah. He's got that same quickness that makes defenders panic. His close control, ability to glide past players, and sharp turns make him dangerous. It's clear this guy has the skills to cause problems for any defense, and just like Salah, he's got an eye for goal. His finishing is crisp, and he's got that knack for finding the back of the net when it matters. Kudus has shown that he can do it at the top level, whether it's in the Eredivisie with Ajax or showing up for Ghana on the international stage. He's been lighting it up. You don't score goals and make assists consistently in high-pressure games without being a special talent. But despite all the talents, there might be an issue with the transfer. First, his transfer fee might get to 100 million, but is he worth it? Well, considering the fact that players like Antony were bought for almost the same price, but there is one thing: if Liverpool is looking for someone with the same skill set as Salah in the Premier League, then it has to be Kudus, and he's only 24, so he has room to grow. The next player who could replace Salah always has a similar output to top Salah. His name is Omar Marmoush. This Egyptian forward is having a breakout season, and I think he might just be what it takes to step into those big shoes Salah has left behind. First off, the guy's numbers are insane right now. In just 23 appearances, he's racked up 18 goals and 12 assists. Meanwhile, Salah has 16 goals and 13 assists this season. That's some serious production for a player only 24 years old. I mean, can you imagine if he brought that kind of form to Anfield? He's shown he's got talent to perform at the highest level, and with Salah being 32 now, the clock's ticking for the Egyptian king, right? The only problem is that he's right-footed and has mostly played on the left, but I think if Slot needs another high-output player like Salah, Marmoush is his guy. But what do you think? Who should replace Salah or act as his understudy if his contract is renewed? Let me know in the comments, and when you're done with that, watch our last video on how good Salah is.